water for you.
Thank you. That's- Well, I've written a lot of poems about going places, and I might start with one that is in flight, if I can find it. In flight. Not only do I write for myself, I write for you, sitting there, who have never read a poem. You are looking out the window. The wings seem sturdy. Count the rivets in that frontal flap. Look at the grass there by the runway. It is wet and has a look of lacking sun. Black bars on concrete point our direction, are there to give some guidance in a fog. We lift and are off on a trip through air. You cannot see through these layers of softness. Sudden sun reflects off hard gray metal. If you look closely, you can see many rows of rivets, some sort of system, under the gray paint holding us all together. Below you can see patterned green valleys, that lake dammed to water farms and cities. Here a snowy mountain pokes through clouds. There a plains trail leads in another direction. Look, feel for the patterns, the rivets, and the lines that hold us together. And this is a different kind of travel. Out of the darkening fog. Out of the darkening fog, beside the hurtling cars on the freeway, the black dog leaps and turns, whirls his frightened body, unable to leap the barrier, the center divider, unable to return to the shoulder, safety, and the world beyond. The frantic eyes catch mine. I brake but cannot stop. Tires squeal behind me and beside me. Caught in the onward rush, I must go on. I go on. Okay. And this one is just about being brave, I guess. Courage. Ever the wind, or ever the winding whirl of deeds and duties, of masks and measures mark the limits of our time. We fix our faces, learn the steps of the dance that entangles us. Step, slide, step. Whether the ragings and rumors of wars, and mourn the changing moon. A sudden gust engulfs us, and we are afraid. But bright leaves, red and yellow, swirl and dance, scutter, bounce their fragile selves along the narrow streets. As you can tell, I'm kind of working with a cold. Since Joan talked about her grandchildren, I have one poem I wrote to a grandson many years ago. It's Ode to a Grandson. Grandson, holding you close, suddenly our hearts pulse together, and we beat an echo of generations. This infant against breast, repeats itself, pounds down, pulsing a dance we cannot see. A valve, a small holding action along a course from some giant pump. I rock you, finding the rhythm that rolls us back to the starting place. And I taught for 40 years, I taught actually. And so that does something to you. This is Reflections of a Grammar Teacher. I am a noun, a person, place, or thing, stuff to form a sentence of. Solid, particular, caught in time and space, having dimension and color. Decorative, useful at times required to fill a place in a design. Hold a pose of circles, angles, obliques, or be the muse they seek. I am a noun, a person, place, or thing, or a person, place, perhaps, where persons can find themselves in the stare of pupils in my eyes, reflecting them until they melt in a blink. Or a thing, place, where things are stored, treasures to be fingered at leisure, or even a thing person, acquiring and arranging things until tender fingers, worn with care, bleed ragged at the touch. Or I am a verb. I tense in varying ticks of time. I can run, and running past the place where running changes into ran. Panting, pulse pounding, far from might run. Glad not to have chosen to stand in empty hesitation, forever caught in might have run. Shall or will are out of reach of the blood beat of now. I am a verb, stretching to string nouns into motion, clattering time into tension, making them dance. And my teachings, I deal with some problems that students have. Johnny's echo. Johnny, you could call geese in from anywhere to loop down from the sky in answer to your lure of safety. Or as wise as an Iroquois, throw the doe's moan well enough to bring a buck to your hidden ambush. And woods-wise, you went to that jungle war where vines looped down in blood and the hunted gave a strange call. You were haunted by booby traps and bombs, the terror of being prey. Your poem spoke of running in a strange and beautiful wood, and of your rage. Dead now, shot by your wife as you broke down her door, killed by your most elusive prey, in terror of the fury of your rage. That doe you most loved and hated learns a new moan, while in another room, your small son practices his call. Well, I have a lot of fishing poems. And this one was written after I felt I couldn't go fishing anymore. outside the spinning time. No longer any need to fish. I can feel tension taut to string the teasing time. The twist, arch, and spasm coil around cold steel. And I know the pitch of bright egg glow, a jeweled pin worn on the tongue in the caught lunge, the final flop on rock, scraping my rainbow self in the burn of air. No longer any need to fish, I let the quick cold wash my resting feet outside the spinning time. I forgot to say that grandchild I wrote the poem to earlier, 6'5" and at least 280 pounds.
You grew.
Okay. Um, A friend was visiting from the east with her little girl, and the daughter was listening to us talk about, this was quite a while ago, a terrible earthquake in South America. And she was worried about earthquakes. She hadn't heard about them before. It's called measuring. Is there anything else I don't know about? Small daughter splashing in Oregon water. A Peruvian disaster has provoked the pause. Your fingers held to the sun count. There's floods and tornadoes and lightning. You didn't tell me about earthquakes. You want an answer to catalog the possibilities of pain. I cannot tell you all, remembering the legless man on skateboard spilled, struggling to reach a cane. The sun power released to cinder a city. Buchenwald's bones piled like tinder. Now fingers held together, the sun filtering past your bones delights you, and you plunge them into the bright cold. Clouds overhead foretell no disaster. Mushrooms in nearby woods are edible. Even the thunder says nothing. And the fish your mother caught, its rainbows echoing the promise, lies quiet. The unseeing eye still shining. She's beautiful. I wish I'd seen her when she was alive. Well, let's see what else. This one is. Some years ago, I went to the 50th high school reunion. Have any of you done that? Anyway, this is at the 50th high school reunion. We, growing up in the Depression, were happy, chasing the Iceman down the street, playing hide-and-go-seek in the alleys, lined with sunflowers, singing "Ollie, Ollie, Out's in free" to call the lost ones in, playing softball in vacant lots, or practicing the piano after school while our mothers cooked supper, baked apple pies. It was sunshine, green grass and roses, or snow forts with snowballs flying and snowmen with carrot noses. We carved angels in the snow. No dark clouds in our skies until Pearl Harbor and Roosevelt's voice intoning over the auditorium loudspeaker a call to war. Then we had victory gardens and recycled cans, stamps for sugar, meat, and gasoline. Still, though brothers and cousins boarded trains for far places, we were happy. Now we gather here to laugh and eat, share pictures and stories, note the angels we have carved, and try to call the lost ones in. How am I doing?
You're fine. You got 15 minutes. 5 more minutes or 10 more, yeah.
Okay. This is a little meadow near my home. I used to walk my dog in the meadow. It's called October Meadow. The world stands still in the meadow, as if waiting for something. Blackberry bushes remember their offerings with ghost fruit, and the silent fir and oak stand sentinel to grass and dry creek. Weeds bow their teasel heads, and poison oak defines itself in red. But from over the hill comes the low rumble of freeway and train. I could finish with this. My cousin, who was in the World War II and was in Pearl Harbor when it was bombed, and then wound up in South Pacific, and the ship was blown out from under him, and he swam for 8 hours. Anyway, he's in this poem. To the helmsman, he invited me to go along with him to Hawaii. To the helmsman, sailing from Molokai to Maui. I don't know, Paul. Maybe it was a rough crossing, heading through the channel toward Lanai. The dips and dives our schooner took, and the splash of salt spray over us, or rolling in on the underside of our steeply tilting boat, washed me free of caring, though my skin, through a salt crust, raised feelers to the wind. I clung to Barbara's arm, laughing with salt in my eyes, when the staysail snapped, the mast suddenly dropping. Marie hugged her knees, her face sparkling with salt. I never doubted we would make it, with your 300 pounds at the wheel, and Cousin Joe asleep below, his good luck tattooed in Chinese on his stomach, rolling back and forth with each pitch of the boat. Luck that lasted Pearl Harbor's fire, though he tried to man the guns in the bay, and a blasted night swim in the South Pacific. California Ken scooted on sea legs, sure-footed, young and happy with the open air and space, away from that auto-exhausted pace. Not feeling the gouges on his legs, got from managing the winches and ropes to change the boom for tacking with the wind. Paul, you laughed, spinning the wheel. Watch your heads, she's coming around now. My legs braced against the lower bench to resist the pull of that purple Poseidon. But Bob was scared, sat gripping the ropes on the high side at the stern, seeing the waves coming, and every inch of his 6'7" braced to hold us all together, plotting handholds on the main spar for 8 should the sail dip too low. Not happy to hear that rough weather was good marlin weather. It may be good for sharks too. His Nordic face belied its origin. He would rather be any place but here. Put me ashore. I'd rather fly, he shouted. On the lee of Lanai, it was calmer, and he stayed, though there was an airport on that pineapple plateau. And the black-purple sea had depth he could not know. The sheer brown cliffs looking down on us held caves full of the ancient dead. Paul, now, when I close my eyes, the world still rolls and dips, and there's no one of your weight to steer it, or Bob's reach to hold it together, or even a Joe, awash inside and out, and gently rocked to sleep, a war-seasoned sailor, bringing luck.